and you see me fishing a spinning pole out there and you think I'm a dork because I'm fishing a spinning pole, well, just remember two things. One, I probably caught all the fatties with the fish finder jig just before you got there. And two, when I put my head down on the pillow at night, I'm not having those thoughts bouncing in the back of my head that I just killed 10,000 fish because I walked all over their spawning beds. All right, this one's going to be a quick one today. I'm going to talk to you about guided red trampling and why we need a little bit more no bro rather than yo bro in our world. So stick with me. Let's get right to it. Yesterday when I was out fishing, walking back from the Euro nymphing video I put together from you guys, I came across this photo right here. This is a very popular spawning bed on the Deschutes River on the Warm Springs Reservation, just downstream of the public access. Everyone knows about it. There's a sanctuary sign there that stops people from fishing on a large majority of this bar right here. But the way the sign is positioned, you can still stop legally on the bottom of this bar and get out if the water's shallow enough and walk around. The reality is this is one of the largest patches of spawning gravel on the Deschutes River where salmon, steelhead, trout all spawn. And so if I would have had a polarized lens on my camera yesterday, just like I had on my sunglasses when I was standing up on the bluff here, you can see all these patches of cleaned off gravel, just like I described in my video before the season opened, and I'll put the thumbnail up there for you to check that video out, where I go into a more in-depth discussion of what a fish red is, how the eggs get put in the gravel, and why we need to be avoiding walking all over them. And so yesterday, when I walked back up after doing a little bit of fishing in the morning, this was the third boat that stopped here as on a guided trip. You know it's a guided trip when two people get out of the boat with rods and one person doesn't, and they're standing over their shoulder. And so this is a common occurrence on the Deschutes. That's why it's called guided red trampling here locally. It's an easy spot to fish, especially when the water's low. Yes, there's a lot of fish in there, but when you get out of the boat and walk around there, and I'm going to put up a little slide here while I'm talking, all these dunes that you see that are marked in the red lines, that's where the water rushes up over it and goes down. Those are kind of the dunes. Those are classic spawning areas where fish spawn. And so like I've been saying yesterday, you could see out there across the gravel on this spot, the boat was actually anchored. The anchor was actually dropped right in the middle of a fresh red. You could see this big 5-foot area of clean gravel, the line from the anchor going right back to it. So these people literally got out of the boat on top of the tail spill of a red where the eggs were actually put by the fish that they're trying to catch a few years down the road. So it's extremely frustrating. You know, I don't want to blame any specific guide or any specific group or any specific person, but the reality is here is the most direct thing you can do to save fish is not step on them when they're eggs in the gravel. So if you're on your next guided trip and the guide pulls over at a spot like this where there's gravel that's between maybe the size of a large marble or an egg up to the size of maybe a tennis ball or a lemon, somewhere in there, you know, there's likely eggs in that gravel. I know what folks are going to say. They're going to say, Scott, you get out of your boat and fish the middle of the river. Yes, the spot that I do that is further upstream. If I was to take you there, a large majority of the gravel is around the size of a coconut. It's very difficult to wade there. The water's fast. The substrate is large. You can't really get out of a drift boat there very easily because the substrate is very, very difficult to wade around in, and you could fall. And so I'm in my boat that surrounds me. There is no spawning there because the gravel is so big. I've looked at it a long, long time. I've worked in the Deschutes Basin as a biologist for my whole entire life, adult life that is. So I've seen this stuff. A lot of people talk about this, the trips that come down. You know, sure, it's anglers too that come out with their drift boat, but the daily trips that occur every single day are the guide trips 2 or 3 boats stopped right here just in the few hours I was fishing a small stretch of river yesterday in the morning. This happens all the time. And so when we look at the science literature to ask ourselves, well, what kind of damage does this really do? There's a paper from 1992 from Roberts and White. It's the classic angler weighting test in a laboratory on trout embryos in gravel. So what they found basically is that 2 passes a day killed 90% of the eggs. So when you look out here and see the amount of traffic that wades through this spot and many of the other red spots along the river where it's easy to wade, they get trampled all day long, the whole entire season, right? And so about 10 years ago, our state Fish and Wildlife proposed to open the river for the whole season. And so there was a large public outcry against that. People didn't want to see the river be fished every single day of the year. The fish need a rest. And most importantly, those reds would have been trampled 365 days a year. So red trampling and not doing that is the #1 thing that you can do and not kill fish. Now these guys right here, they probably get back in their rig. They got the Sue the Dam bumper sticker on there right next to the Trout Unlimited bumper sticker, and they're gonna head off and be all mad because they only caught 1 fish today and the river's being killed. You know, we gotta do something about it. And the reality is those things, building fake beaver dams that wash away every year, giving your money to lawyers to sue the dam without a very strategic effort, those are very, very indirect ways to save fish. Not stepping on them when they are defenseless little eggs in the gravel or paying to go on a guided trip where they take you to do that, that's the most direct way that you can save fish. So I'm sorry we had to have this conversation. I want to see you out on the river having a good time, catching big fish. When you see me and you're in your guided trip and you see me fishing a spinning pole out there and you think I'm a dork because I'm fishing a spinning pole, well, just remember 2 things. 1, I probably caught all the fatties with the fish finder jig just before you got there. And 2, when I put my head down on the pillow at night, I'm not having those thoughts bouncing in the back of my head that I just killed 10,000 fish because I walked all over their spawning beds. So see you out on the river, have a good time, and remember, protect those fish. Thanks for watching.